You know, it is another day where we are expected to tell you what is happening in the world of sports. As always, KTN Scoreline. I know there is plenty that we have on the menu, and today, allow me just to start the show head-on, because most likely we will be hearing what is happening in the world of COVID-19 here in the country. But I hope we will be able to have some few minutes and just tell you what is going on in the world of sports. Today, we will start with Gor Mahia. At least yesterday, we know they had the election. And when we think about the election, there was a lot that was expected from the Gor Mahia's outfit. There is a new leadership, and that new leadership is expected to be able to take the mantle and lead the affairs of Gor Mahia FC. Now, at this particular time, allow me to indulge with Henry Ogoye. And this is the man who was in charge of the Gor Mahia's election yesterday. Mr. Henry, if you can hear me, I know it was a wonderful exercise. We have a new leadership at the helm of Gor Mahia. And in your own take, how will you rate the way that the exercise went yesterday?
The exercise went on well. It has been a very busy 1 month preparing for the day. And what we did is that we had all the logistics in place. And the exercise kicked off at 9. And by 11, it was over. And by 11:01, the results were ready.
Mm-hmm. Talking about the results and everything that actually transpired yesterday, I will be specific. Sally Bolo, one of the contestants yesterday, she was not happy. I don't know, in your own take, what exactly transpired? Because I know some, Fawashi saying that the agents were not allowed to go and see how everything was transpiring. What's your general take on this?
What happened was that it is a fear, or it is an allegation which is which is far-fetched. Mm-hmm. Because we started, each and every contestant was allowed to come with, we had observers to start with from FKF, mm-hmm. KPL, and sports, sports registry. Mm-hmm. Then each and every contestant had, had an agent. Mm-hmm. And the exercise was done in such a way that there was even a screen where you could see the way votes are coming in, mm-hmm. and the way votes are coming in and how they are allocated between the various contestants. Mm-hmm. Now, along the way, as votes were trickling in, one of the contestants started to be unruly. In fact, she put aside her watch and the phone. So I think the next thing she was trying to do is just to go and jump on the computer, which was recording the voting. Mm-hmm. So it is at that point that I instructed the security people to remove her out. Mm-hmm. But finally, there was some intervention, and things cooled down, and the exercise proceeded. In fact, by the time that disruption was coming on board, mm-hmm. we were only remaining with 15 minutes to the end. To be specific, it was around 10:45. Mm-hmm.
I know there was a lot of talks about how she was ejected and the drama and all the fiasco that we had all out there. But what will you tell the members of public in regards to the result and in regards to the people who went out and took part in this exercise?
What I would say, my brother, is that we've been very, very honest in this exercise, because I know, but we expected such things on account of the fact of the things which were being said on the countdown to elections. And the whole ball game is about the so-called election runner, the platform which you are using to conduct this election. Mm-hmm. When I took over this exercise, I was told that it would be It would be an online election. Then I asked, do we already have a system? Yes, a system is already procured and it has been pre-tested to the executive and it is working. So what did we do? We said, okay, fine. Now let's start off the exercise. Do we have registered votes? A list of registered voters ready? Then we were told, give us 2 days, we'll close. By the closing time, we had around 558 voters registered. Those ones who had paid an annual fee of 1,200, mm-hmm. 558. Mm-hmm. Then there was some cleanup for people who might have registered. In fact, there were 624. Mm-hmm. Then there was some cleanup. Marvin. Mm-hmm. Yes, there was some cleanup for people who might have registered twice. So finally, the list came to 558.
Yeah.
Now, among the 558, there were 2 members of the board, myself and somebody called Karela Sonyango.
Yeah.
We said that as members of the board, we cannot vote because we are supposed to exercise impartiality.
Yeah.
So the final number was 556. So now, coming back to the what? Then what did we do? We picked the constitution of the club. We picked the application forms and the rules and regulations posted on the Gor Mahia website. We even created an email which they were using to submit the applications. So we gave them 1 week to comply. We opened, and when we opened, 2 posts were never contested. So those went on unopposed. That is the chairman and the secretary general. Then the other ones were contested. So what did we do? Like if the chairman was not contested, was not having an opponent, we checked whether all the other requirements were in place, which was okay. The same with the secretary general. Then we did the one which was supposed to, which were being contested. So we did and cleared 2 candidates for each post. In fact, none of them was disqualified. Then after that, we started now the process of preparing for the elections. So we were giving updates which we were posting on the We were posting on the website. And there were even updates I was sending to them one on one to each and every candidate. Then, along the way, a letter came from the registrar's office that that we have an online election, then they prescribed some of the things we're supposed to comply with. So after they had done that, one of them was a suggestion that what they know with online voting is that it is only ISPAC who has such a system. So what did we do? We said, okay, fine. Since Registrar of Sports has suggested that we consider that, we now subjected this system to ISPAC technical team. So the ISPAC technical team looked at this and they found that it is okay. We can use it. Now, there are people who are, so there was now a dilemma. There are people who are fixated on ISPAC and there are people who said no to ISPAC. So what did we do? We did this Wednesday last week.
Actually, Henry, as you're telling us about that, just tilt your camera a little bit, so because the people at home needs to know we are talking with the person who was in charge.
Is it okay now?
Now I can see.
Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So what happened is that on Wednesday this week, we had a Zoom meeting with all the contestants. So what did we discuss? We discussed a number of concerns which they had. Then finally, we resolved that each and every contestant would nominate an IT expert, who would now go and discuss with the platform technical team, go through the system they are taken through, which we did on Thursday, and then they cleared off. Then on Friday, we started now releasing communications on how the voting will be done, things which they were supposed to be aware of. Then there was an attempt to hack the system. So when there was an attempt to hack the system, what we did is that we said that, okay, fine, the final credentials for voting will be sent 10 minutes to election time. And it was done exactly that. Then what did we do? We said that we want honesty to prevail. So we had a big screen which was showing everything. Before election started, they pre-tested, and there was on that, you see, it is showing no results. So at that point, the election time, the process began. So votes started trickling in, and they could see from the screen how votes were coming in and how the percentages were changing. And we did that up to 11. Then we declared the results at 11:01. And as you had mentioned earlier, there were some commotions, but that one never disrupted the exercise from continuing. I submit.
Thank you very much. That's Henry Ogoye. I know there is a lot that has been happening in regards to the Gor Mahia's election, but at least, yes, we have a new leadership in Gor Mahia, and that is the man who was in charge of the electoral board that spearheaded that exercise. Now let's cross and get to know